the hood like everybody from the hood. It's up to no good. You think all the girls around here were tricking? Up there looking like super chicken. At night I see a light through my bedroom window, but I ain't got shit but the patent pencil. I can't wait till I hear you say, I'm going down, Mayday, Mayday. I'm gonna clown, cause every time that the pigs have got me, y'all rub it in with the flying Nazi. Military force, but we don't want ya standing on my roof with the rocket launcher. So fly like an eagle, but don't follow us wherever we go.
So I think the earliest days of my life in South Central, man, I think for me, probably starts right here at this school, man. This is Hyde Park Elementary, man. Hyde Park and 10th Ave. Right there on that little, I went to kindergarten right there, man. Was at this school, and a lot happened here, man. And then as I got older, I didn't ever really realize I was on the dime. Like, this is the heart of Rolling 60 hood. This is it. You know, this is where I grew up. But right there, man, kindergarten. I was here before those bungalows was ever built. I was in that first class, Miss Dale. I remember there, one of the twins, my boy Gary and Jerry, cut a plug in my hair with some scissors. Cut my hair in there, trying to be a barber, man. We were in that class. It's crazy. And then this is my walk, man. I used to walk to the babysitter house after school. As early as probably first, second grade, I took the walk from New School all the way down the street there, around the corner, around the railroad tracks to Miss Dale house. And I used to walk home with walk to the babysitter with a couple of dudes. One, rest in peace, my boy Philip Elzy, AKA Lil Muggs. He lived right on that corner. And so we would walk from there, and he was the first house or that apartment building, and he would be at home, and we just keep going all the way down, man. So this is kind of where it started, man. Like right here on this little street, man. It's crazy to be back at Hyde Park Elementary, back in the neighborhood. Like, crazy. The dime. They tell you stay off the dime. Don't be on the dime if you didn't know the dime. So cats be talking about like Nipsey and all that. Like, this the dime. Then you had Brian Hurst up the street, and but I was just one of them dudes, man, that is like, as a little kid, I think God just protected me because there was a lot going on. You talking like, kindergarten, I'm like 1975, 76. That used to be a sand pit right there. My dad has a picture, my mom has a picture of me sitting in that when it was just sand. And I remember Miss Green, she used to be in one of these classes, Miss Bryant. Miss Green married Mr. Popovich. First time I saw like interracial marriage. My black teacher married a white guy. And I loved them, man. They were just great people. And same old sheds, man, from the 70s, right there. Them same ones. This is crazy, man. So, man, I graduated like right over there. And it's crazy because, I think the first time that I really dealt with death, and I don't even know if my parents, until my mom probably sees this, really realized that like that graduation, me, Andre, and Daryl Dunning, Philip Elzy, was the first time, like me and Philip Elzy, and everybody in the hood knew him as Lil Muggs, but I knew him as just Philip. I grew up with him. And we played basketball together. We walked home every day, like down that street, and he would get to his apartment first. But we graduated, I think we were like 12, man. It was the first time, like, I literally really dealt with death because I want to say like that summer or so, he was banging and he got killed, man. And I was like, dang, like, the first time I was like interacted with somebody that had just died. Like, it wasn't a grandparent, wasn't a cousin, it was like, that was my friend. We were 12 or turning 13, whatever. So I dealt with that a lot, man, growing up. And so my why, has always been like, I gotta do better, gotta do better, gotta do better. God has blessed me with being able to survive and live, and he's maneuvered me through my life. And so that was tough, man. I lost 13 dudes to gang violence before I graduated high school. So that's crazy. So my boy Lavelle used to live right here years ago. Call him Fluke, or Lavelle. He lived right here. So it used to be, thank you. It used to be green, and this is where my father, we moved from that place to here. I think they really liked it. Me and my sister used to play in the backyard. I remember my cousins and us used to play up here, but this is another part of, my life where this is where my parents, they were together and different stuff happened, and crazy places. My sister, she's one of the first kids. I think we have a meningitis shot now. She got spinal meningitis, and I remember it's like one of the first places I ever saw my parents both cry, like really worried about my sister. So, but we lived here, man, and then from here we moved into our first house. It was crazy. But yeah, this is part Arlington, where I grew up. To walk to the store, I'm on the old school days where your father could write a note and I could buy a pack of cigarettes when I was like 7, 8 years old. So I used to go down there. Got my bike stolen down there on Christmas Day. I don't even want to talk about it. It might make me mad again. But he told me, don't ride. I wanted to ride anyway. I rode, parked my bike outside, Christmas morning. The walk right there, you see the liquor sign, say Century Liquor. And I walked that way, man, and my bike got stolen, Christmas morning. And best fish in LA for many, many years, right around that corner, 5 C's, best fish, hands down. Couldn't nobody touch them, man, in LA. They was the bomb. So yeah, this is my neighborhood, man. This is where from 11th Ave, we moved right here. And you had to know the gang lines, man. Like I was around here when this was still kind of like 60s. And then V&Gs came, and then like all of a sudden, so I used to play at Van Ness Park, which is right on the other side of that RTD bus station. I was around here when they built that. I'm so old. That wasn't there. You can walk right here and go to the park. Those lights are where the park is. And I played over there with the likes of like Jock Vaughn, some of the best basketball players that ever came out of LA. I remember when Jock was like 8, 9 years old playing with 14s. There was a lady named Miss D, or Coach D. She was a girl, and she's a lady. She coached Jock. She coached Jock there. We go swimming there, and this is where and then we kind of moved away from here, and then a few years later, not knowing the things that were gonna happen in my life, we moved back all up and down in the avenue. So this is the spot, man. This is my old stomping grounds. This is where we used to play, and used to have a guy who used to live next door here. His name was Bobby. I always had these crazy mentors and people been in my life, but wasn't the first guys that I ever knew that left and went away and went to school and played college football. So I lived here at probably 7, 8, because I was playing for Inglewood. Yeah, so 7, 8 years old right here, and then Bobby lived next door. And I remember he used to play catch with me, and then all of a sudden he was gone. I was like, where'd he go? So he went to college, played football. So crazy experience. We start thinking about the stuff that I do now, like the people that have been in my life. So yeah, that's it, man. I'm gonna tell the guy, man. I'm over here shooting, man. I lived in this house almost 35, 40 years ago. Oh yeah. Your grandfather, I said them G's on that gate still there. Oh yeah. Mr. Griffin, he was a police officer, huh? Yeah. I was a little boy. They used to take care of me, man. Oh, wow. It was my folks. That's crazy. What's up, Al? That's crazy, man. So to be over here, we used to play right here. You too. To play right here, Mr. Griffin, his grandfather, owned this house, man, and allowed him to have his house. So this is my old house, 1063 West 80. 1063 West 81st Street, man. This is my that window was so gigantic to me growing up. But this was the first house I think my father bought this house when he was 27 years old. He said it was one of his most grand accomplishments, and this is probably still the same thing, man. We could hear the planes breaking down going into LAX, because there's a straight line to LAX. But this is where I grew up with my mother, my father, and my sister. This was some of the greatest times, and then at the end it was really, really crazy, because this was when the crack era came. And so my sister used to draw right here. She part of that first group of people who had the crayons, and she double dutched right here. And crazy story, she was right here. She said, "Daddy, it's a man in the car asleep." And we knew everybody that lived here. Mr. Boyd lived there, Mr. Black, Mr. Griffin, my boy Sean, he lived down the street, Lamont Kuntz on the corner, Jimmy, he lived at the end of the block, and then my best friend Lamont Caldwell, he lived down there. And the guy that was in the car, he wasn't asleep, he was dead. Somebody had killed a guy and put a dead body right here, and it was kind of a message. My father he's a great dude, man. He was doing some things that wasn't cracking, and so somebody wanted to send him something, and so it was crazy. But this was some of the greatest times of my life. I built, go in the backyard here, man. So my dad built me a basketball court back here, man. This was my spot, like. And I don't know, people who don't know how I do comedy, this is where my dad parked the trash truck when he got his promotion to bring his truck home. We was like, "You don't get that truck up out of here." This particular brick wall was built for me. It used to be a gate, and my ball used to bounce over this gate, because my court used to be on the garage. My dad and my uncle David built it and put it up on the garage. And so the ball would bounce off and it would go over there, and we would hop Mr. Boyd's gate, and he just got tired. So I came home one week and it was a gang of dudes back here building this brick wall. Kind of crazy. This brick wall is like my age. And now he got this court. Never had a jacuzzi and all that back here, but kind of cool the way he set it up. It used to be just dirt. Me and my sister used to play back here, and it's wild, man. I used to stand right here and jump off the garage, and that's why I learned how to slam dunk. So this is my house, man. This is the house that my parents, man, lived in. It's crazy to just be right here and being back. But this was like some of the most, so probably from age 1981 maybe, so 10 turning 11 to 84, that 3-year span was nuts, man. It was a beautiful time, but then it was a crazy time, because that's when crack came into the LA area, South Central. Pops was selling dope, moms and pops selling, doing whatever they were doing, and then they fell into the trap, and then we moved from here. And we just moved, and we kept moving, and I think I've been moving ever since. But it's another part of my why. Like, I had these different parts of my life that was just great, and them other parts that were like, what the heck is going on? But happy times right here, man. Happy times. I think my dad would be so, and to come here today, which is crazy. A guy named Alex that graduated from Washington High School in 1988, who I played basketball against, bought my old house. That's crazy. That's phenomenal. But good days, man. Good days here at 1063. This is so nuts. That milk drop, we used to leave it open. We had a cat named Midnight, and he used to come through there, and that would let him in through the milk drop. And so it was cool, man. I learned how to drive a stick shift right here. My mom had a Datsun. My dad bought it for my mom, a Datsun 510. And I used to sit here and learn how to drive the shift. And I would sit in the driveway just like this, looking at the garage. First, second, third, fourth gear, and I'd be sitting right here. And one time, not knowing it was on the hill, I put it in neutral and rolled all the way back that way and stopped and got out. And Daddy said, why the car not in the garage? Up under the... I was practicing and I ended up rolling back that way. And he said, I told you to stay out that car. But that's how I learned, man. And you got to get this spot, man. This is a historical spot. My sister, when she sees this, is going to laugh. This is where Candace Jernigan learned how to cheer. She used to stand right here. And she would cheer for hours upon time. She would cheerlead right here. Every Inglewood cheer for Curtis Conway and me and everybody else, she did right here. Wasn't no gate, and we had, but this was her stage. So when you see this, Candy, this is all you, baby girl. This is you. I'm getting emotional, man. It's crazy, man. Wow. This was our house, bro. This was it. That's nice, bro. Whew. When it was 1985, all the way live, I think I was about 10. One of those happy little niggas singing the blues that be always trying to bag with the shag and karate shit. Saying, yo, mama black, his mama this, his mama that. Then he get mad and wanna scrap. We stay mad about 10 minutes, then it's like back on the bike to play hide and go.